First of all, one disclaimer for this video today. My landscapers are outside and they're being loud as fuck, and they've been here for like 2 hours, and I have got a short time frame of which I can record, so if you hear them, I'm sorry. Second, no sound clips on this video today. I typically have been trying to edit those in to get a general gist of what the band sounds like and what I'm talking about. However, I'm only talking about popular black metal today, so I will definitely get copyright infringements on these albums. So you can find them if you haven't heard them yet. I'm pretty sure every single person, at least almost every single person that will watch this video today, has already heard these or whatever. So I'm a little bit behind here. But I'm going to a concert on Sunday, an all black metal concert for the first time in my life. I have never just been to an only black metal music concert. Every time I've ever seen a black metal band, they've played with other death metal bands. For example, the last concert that I went to was Dark Funeral, Cattle Decapitation, 200 Stab Wounds, and Black Braid. So that's generally how it is with me. But I pulled the trigger. I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to this show. I really want to see Wolves in the Throne Room. I've never seen them live. I like Gay whatever, however you say their name, and Black Braid. I want to see them again. I've already seen them both before, and they were fantastic. So I just bought the ticket. I am one of those people that has no shame. I will go to a show by myself, especially if I'm unable to find anybody to go with me. And that is this case right now. I don't have a whole lot of friends in my area that are into black metal at all. They're mostly the death metal simps, as I like to call. They don't like black metal. They dog on it a lot. They're those types of people. So I'm going by myself, and I don't care, like, whatever. I'm going to sit at the bar. I'm going to get a drink. I'm going to relax and just enjoy my alone time because I don't get a lot of that at all. So I'm really excited. I'm just doing something for myself, and I cannot wait. So since I'm going to that show, I figured why not talk about the new Wolves in the Throne Room EP that just came out a couple of weeks ago on Relapse Record. I love this. It's a 4-song, 20-minute EP. The last song is just an ambient synth track, Crown of Stone, but it's really good. And I don't like ambient music at all. It's just not something that I'm into, but they do this well. It's very much just Wolves in a Throne Room. They're not really doing anything different here. They add a little bit of an industrial feel to this, which is I really like it. I think it goes well with the music. But it still has that synthy atmospheric black metal to it, and a very cathartic listen. I love the album artwork. I think that's awesome. I'm a sucker for black metal, atmospheric black metal with wintry scenes on their album cover. So, like, that is generally the type of black metal that I really, really enjoy. I don't ever get tired of it. It's pretty much all I listen to when it comes to the genre. So this band needs absolutely no introduction. You guys all know US black metal. They've been around forever. Well, for a long time. Two Hunters is like their album that everybody generally hails as their best. I personally love that album, but it is not one that I've played in a while. I did listen to it this week though, and remembered how much I love it. I do love their ambient album too. What is it, Celestine or whatever. But I do like that. Again, I'm not an ambient music fan at all. It's got more synthy to it, but I enjoy it. I don't know. I can't explain it. So, printed inner sheet here, more frosty. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what that is. It looks like an eyeball, a blurry eyeball, but maybe it's a winter storm. I don't know. Just a plain silver vinyl. I didn't get the fancy coloring ones that they did. Yeah, they're just plain silver. And yeah, I really, really enjoy this. So this has gotten me pretty amped up to see them. A bunch of my friends have already seen them in other cities. They've seen the St. Louis show, I think the Chicago show. And then, did the Chicago show happen? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. And then Boston most recently. And they've been posting stuff on like Instagram and like sharing in our group chats. And it looks like they put on a fantastic show. So I'm really, really excited to see them. But yeah, check this EP out. I really enjoy it. In fact, this is probably one of my favorite releases to come out this year. I know it's only an EP, but I've been listening to this a ton, and this has been going really well with the cooler weather and spooky season that is starting now that we're in October. But this has just really hit me right at the right perfect time. Like, it's definitely satisfying the mood that I want to listen to in terms of black metal music. So, and on that note, I realized I never talked about this album on here. At least I don't think I have. And this is because I ordered it, I played it like once, and then it went back into my shelf of the abyss, and I never played it again. But since I'm seeing them live, I took it back out and I've been digging into it and diving into it and really, really, really liked their last full length album that came out in 2021. Primordial Arcana or Arcana. I don't know how to say, whatever. Hate the album cover. Just not a fan of it. I mean, whatever, I get it. But again, this is a really, really good album. I feel like maybe it flew under the radar a little bit this year. I don't quite remember if people had this on year-on lists or anything like that. A nice toothy smile for everybody there. And then a printed inner sheet of the lyrics. But yeah, I really like this album. I'm surprised I didn't listen to it more or really like grasp onto it when it came out. I think it came out around the same time as like the time of me just really being into grindcore, and I was just only listening to that at that moment. So that might be why, but I just have ignored it. In the first like 3 songs into like the rest of the album is so good. It's just so good. I mean, it's Wolves in the Throne Room. Again, they're not really doing a whole lot of variances here. They're very much a well-oiled machine at this point, but they've got that folky, synthy vibe to it that I really, really enjoy that's in black metal. So this album it clicked with me as soon as I took it off and listened to it the last couple weeks. I've got the Gold Nugget version. I think this is like the most pressed one or whatever, simply because I love when they do the Gold Nugget pressings. I think they look awesome. They recently did this with something else too. I can't remember what the band that they did this with, but was it? I don't remember. But they also reissued this, or they maybe at the same time, I can't remember. There's a 2 LP version with some extra tracks on here, so I don't have that. I might get it. If it's at the show, maybe I'll pick it up. But it's kind of low on the want list right now, but I don't own that, so I couldn't tell you the big differences. I just know that there's extra music on it. So excited to see that band. But the other band that I'm actually really excited to see is a band that I didn't really come to terms or really like fall in love with until recently. So this album came out last year and I didn't talk about it at all. I pre-ordered the CD. I've had the CD ever since it came out. And again, this was one of those things where I listened to it once and then threw it back on the shelf and just kind of ignored it. There was a lot coming out at this time. I also was not listening to black metal like at all. But I remember I liked it when I heard it. So obviously I got it and I listened to it. But this is Gaia or Gaia. I don't know how to say their name. I even went on YouTube and tried to listen. I still can't pronounce it. I'm a fucking twit. I don't know what to tell you. But this is Mirage that came out last year on Season of Mist. And this is a great album. I really like this album. But this is the reason why I really like the band now. I do own Limbo that came out in 2020. This is their other album that came out recently. And they have one other album, I think it's one other album, that I had not listened to until recent, like within the last week or two. But Limbo came out. This is also on Season of Mist, and back in 2020 in the height of COVID. And I had seen them the year previously, and I don't think I really paid much attention to who they were at the time. It was some fest that they were playing on. I don't remember exactly. I was trying to go back and like look at my email and see who all was playing on the show, and I don't remember. But anyway, they put on a good show. But this album I liked when it first came out, and I think I even showed off the tape on my channel. It was like one of the first videos I ever did. And then it just sat there, and then I think I eventually traded it off because it didn't click with me. Like, I liked it, but I didn't listen to it after that, the first initial listen. It didn't do much for me. But when Mirage came out and when I started to dive more into that album, I went back and I re-listened to this, and I really enjoy it now. A lot of the times when I hear new music from a band and I go back to their older stuff, I tend to like the older stuff, and obviously a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are also like, don't like the older stuff and they only like the newer stuff. So for me, their new stuff has been a gateway into their older stuff. And so I picked up the vinyl, and it's really nice quality. Like Season of Mist does a really good job with their vinyls. It has like this like rubbery feel to it. I don't know how to explain what the exact feel to is, but it's like it's very, very pleasing. It's a double LP, a gatefold. There's your band, and I will mention that yes, they wear their masks and stuff on stage, but they're not one of those bands that's like super gimmicky and that you can't know their identity or know what they look like. My friends that went to this special event at Kuma's in Chicago a couple weeks ago, they went and saw the band there, and they had like a special burger made for them and all this other stuff. And I think they did like a super secret show or something like that. So I had a couple of friends that went to that, and they actually hung out with the band afterwards, and they said they didn't have any of their masks on or anything. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is just a plain white double LP, and I don't know if this particular version is still available on Season of Mist. I'm assuming it is because I bought this through Blast Beat Vinyl, and they get like the wholesale pricing or whatever through there. So. But yeah, this album has clicked with me more. I would say there's a little bit of repetition here on this album that kind of makes me feel a little bit bored and stale, which is similar, like pretty much why I didn't listen to it when it first came out a whole lot. But it's definitely clicked a lot more with me now that I've dove into their music and have really taken the time to listen to it. And I do really enjoy this album. I think it is very good. However, I've found that I enjoy their new album a little bit more, and I don't know if that's just because I listened to it and I liked it first. I don't know. But this album is really good. It's very cathartic. It's very emotionally draining. It's very dense and suffocating. Same with Limbo, but I feel like this one is a little bit more so. And I just really, really like that. Also, this one is super glossy. The other one, it doesn't have that same finish. Super glossy. And a lot of people liked this album last year. I think some people claimed it to be album of the year at some point. I don't know. So I know some of my friends said it was their album of the year. But it is a very, very good album. So I'm excited to see these songs live now that I'm familiar with it. And every single song on this album is good. I don't have a complaint complaint about any of them at all. There's a lot of repetition, a lot of simplicity in terms of their music, but the way that they do it, it's almost satisfying. But I agree, it's not for everybody, and a lot of people just think it's like commercial black metal, as I've seen people bitch about on social media. So it's got a printed bifold, whatever you want to call this, I don't know, booklet of the lyrics, and then liner notes. And then the records themselves are just crystal clear, so nothing fancy here. But they sound great, and it's, again, really nice quality pressing. Season of Mist doesn't lack in terms of that. Also, their polybags are super thick. Like, I really like how thick they are. Just a random tidbit here. So yeah, I'm really excited to see this band. I do really like them. There was something about this album in particular over Limbo where I enjoyed the guitars more, and I enjoyed the way the song structuring was. This one felt a little bit disjointed at times for me, and like I said, it got a little bit stale towards the middle of the album. There's definitely shining moments on it, but for this one, for the newest album, I like the whole thing. It's a very cathartic experience, like I've said, very emotionally exhausting album, but when I listen to it all in full, I'm generally very pleased and happy, and just like, wow, that was great. I'm going to listen to that again. And I tend to listen to it. So I've been listening to it a lot. So I'm very excited to see this band live. So I figured I'd talk about this today because I haven't really at all. And I know, so Black Parade is playing. What a hot button issue we've got here. So this band, Gaia, someday I'll get the name right, and Black Parade tend to be a little bit of like the divide in black metal. There's the like, I don't want to call them black metal purists. I don't know what the cults or whatever. They think like this is commercial black metal. It's all garbage, blah, blah, blah. It's not hateful enough, whatever. And they really dog on people for overhyping the bands and being excited about new music. And then there's the people like me who like it. I just like it. I think it's good. Whatever. Commercial black metal, which is just weird to think. But yeah, it is popular. They've got dedicated fan bases. They've found success. And Black Parade is one of those, especially this year. Their new album, Black Parade 2, which I've dedicated a whole video to, is very good, and it is one of my favorite releases this year. All of the drama aside, I think it's a really good album. Is it like the most groundbreaking black metal album that I've ever heard? No. I mean, I've never really like been so wowed by an album and so taken back to where I think it's like the greatest thing I've ever heard in terms of the genre. Um, Not since I the first time I ever heard the Satyricon albums, or the first time I ever heard Kaladin Brood's album. I thought that the Windir albums, like those are the ones where I'm just like, those are like, yes, so good. And then Panopticon, like those are like the three bands that I can name off the top of my head right now. There's a place for these bands. It's modern black metal. I like it. It's a genre that I don't claim to be a connoisseur of. I'm very basic when it comes to black metal music. I like the popular bands. I tend to follow them. I don't dive too far into the underground or know any of the old school 90s obscure bands or anything like that. So I'm very basic when it comes to black metal. But it's a journey that I've been going on for a couple years now. I've been taking everybody with me in this YouTube channel. So I'm very excited for this concert, and I really enjoy these albums. I do like the new Black Braid album, all the controversy aside. And you know what I'm talking about. The festival that happened recently, and it was all this uproar. I'm not even going to comment on it. You don't fucking care what I think anyway. So I'm excited. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about these albums. The Wolves on the Throne Room EP is very good, and it must just be the mood that I'm in right now. It is one of those things where I can listen to their music at any time and not feel like I want to turn it off. Like there's definitely mood albums like that. And then there are also times where I'll just only be listening to death metal, and then I'll get like this little bit of an itch, and I want to listen to something a little bit crazy and a little bit weird and a little bit obscure, and so I'll put on this album, Disharmonium, behind me. I love those Blut aus Nord's albums. I don't understand it because they're pretty far out there, and they can be hard to listen to if it's not something that you're used to or just not something you're expecting. I don't know how to explain it. Somebody called that out in my room video because I said I don't really care too much for the album. It's not doing anything for me. There's some things about it that just really aren't sonically pleasing. And they're like, yeah, but you like the new Blue album. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I listened to that this weekend. I love those fucking albums. I think they're fantastic. I don't know. I'm weird. I'm a weird person. I don't know what to tell you. So that's all that I have for this Black Metal Monday. I'll probably record some clips and stuff for the show and then pop them up on here on Monday and talk about it. So that'll probably be my next video. So see you guys in the next one.